Hello everyone, welcome to Math Tired Club. I hope you're doing well. Today I want to talk about factoring, and I'm going to try to go into the details of factoring with you. It's going to be pretty easy. In this lesson, we're going to work on factoring using mental foil, and we're going to see what factoring exactly is. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the fact that factoring and multiplying are kind of the opposite of each other. What do I mean by that? For example, x plus 2 times x plus 3. If we want to multiply these using the distributive property, this is what we're going to do. We're going to distribute the first parentheses into the second parentheses. So as you know, x times x is going to be x2. You add the powers when you multiply. And after here, in this, you're going to multiply 2 and x, which is going to be 2x. And then you're going to multiply 3 times x, which is going to be 3x, and 2 times 3, which is 6. And then you're going to add the like terms here. It's going to be x squared plus 5x plus 6. That's going to be the answer. So x plus 2 times x plus 3 is going to be x squared plus 5x plus 6. So when we are multiplying, it's like we're going from this part to this part, but when we are factoring, it's actually going from this other part to the first part. So it's like when they say and they ask us to factor something, it's like they're asking us to find what times what parentheses, what binomial, like I'm talking about factoring in quadratic functions. So what binomial times what binomial is going to equal to the trinomial or the thing that you have. So that's why I say factoring and multiplying are kind of the opposite of each other. Now I'm going to write this lesson and have factoring when a is 1 and when a is not 1. And of course, it's not 0 in both of the cases, because if it's 0, then we're not going to have a quadratic function. So listen, in this lesson, we're going to talk about mental foil, in which a is actually 1. Foil is the method that we're going to use in order to factor any type of quadratic equation and function that they give us. So first, I'm going to talk about using foil to factor the cases of quadratic function in which a is 1, such as this equation. Look at the board, everyone. X squared plus 4x plus 3. They would give us this question and they would tell us to factor. So in order to factor this using foil, the first thing that I have to tell you and you have to pay attention to is the fact that a is 1 here. So first, let's talk about what a, b, and c are, which I have already had this video before, but I'm going to kind of review it. So the basic formula for a quadratic function is y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c, in which a is the coefficient of x to the power of 2, meaning a is the number that is getting multiplied by x to the power of 2. B is the coefficient of x, meaning the number that is getting multiplied by x. And c is the constant, the number without any variable, the single number, the constant. So over here, as you see, a is 1 because there are no numbers next to x, so it means that it was 1 that was getting multiplied by it. So when a is 1, we can use foil, but we can do it mentally. So you have to know that this b over here presents the sum of the factors, and this c, the constant, presents the product of the factors. So what I'm looking for is this, that what are the two numbers that if I multiply them, I'll get 3. And if I add the same two numbers, I'll get 4. So this is going to be me checking the product. And this is going to be me checking the sum. So think about it, everyone. What are the two numbers that if I multiply them, I'll get 3, and if I add them, I'll get 4? Yes, 1 times 3 and 1 plus 3. 1 and 3 are going to be the factors that I'm looking for. So after this step that I found what are the factors and what are the numbers that if I multiply them, I'm going to get the products and the sum. I'm going to have the parentheses. I'm going to put the variable inside. And then I'm going to have the factors where 1 and 3. And this is how I'm going to write it. So once it's going to be x plus 3 and once it's going to be x plus 1. So x plus 3 times x plus 1 is going to give me the exact thing as the question had given me before. So the other possible way of writing the same thing is this, which you know, since these two parentheses are getting multiplied, there is no difference. And if I want to check my answer, there's an easy way for me to check my answer, which is the fact that I can multiply x plus 3 and x plus 1 and see if I'm going to get the exact same thing or not. So x plus 3 times x plus 1, I'm going to use the distributive property here. X times x is going to be x squared, and x times 1 is going to be 1x, 3 times x, 3x, and 3 times 1, 3. These are like terms. I'm going to add them, so it's going to be x squared plus 4x plus 3, and that's exactly what the question was. And in this case, I'm going to be sure that I have actually found the correct answer. Now I'm going to move on and solve another question for you of the same type, mental foil. So look, as an example, we're going to have x squared minus 2x minus 24. The question gives us this and it tells us to factor. So in order to factor this is what I'm going to do. First of all, a is 1 here. So I can do mental foil. So this b over here presents the sum and this c over here presents the product. So what are the two numbers that if I multiply them, I'll get negative 24? And if I add the same two numbers, I'll get negative 2. Think about it. Yes, exactly. The numbers that I'm looking for are negative 6 times 4. Negative 6 times 4 is going to be negative 24, and negative 6 plus 4 is going to be negative 2. So again, for the answer, I'm going to have two parentheses. I'm going to put the variable inside. The factors were negative 6 and positive 4. So once it's going to be negative 6 and once it's going to be positive 4. And as I had said previously, it doesn't matter whether you write it in this form or you write it in the other order or the other form. Both of the answers are going to be correct. And of course, you can check your answers using the distributive property, multiplying these back by each other and seeing if you get the same answer or not. So this was about mental foil. I'm going to give you some exercises so that you can practice if you know what mental foil is or not. So my first example would be p squared minus 15p minus 54. The second one is going to be x squared plus 3x minus 54. And the last one is going to be r squared plus 4r plus 3. You can solve these questions to practice further, and you can check your answers with ChatGPT or other applications. It was so great teaching you guys. Something else that I want to add and tell you is this, that on my next video, which I'm going to link in the description below, we're going to talk about factoring using FOIL when A is not 1. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Have a great day. Bye.